I think it's fair to say that, at least from my point of view, the last 10 years, this is maybe a little extreme, from my point of view, been a total waste of time. Some of the guys in the band feel stronger about the material. I think it's been Pompville. I think it's been crap. But in hindsight, when you're in the middle of it, I've got to say that while we were doing the albums from Crazy Nights on backwards, I really believed it when it was happening. But in hindsight, once you hear this material, you kind of go, this is really what KISS is. This is really what we started doing a long time ago. I think along the way, we lost track a little bit. I did anyway. I was completely lost in the ozone. Too much money, too much fame, too many girls, too many outside bullshit activities, record companies, management, and all that crap. And that's gone. That umbilical cord's been cut. It's KISS or death. We were on tour, this last tour supporting Hot in the Shade, our last album, our 23rd album, I think. And we were on stage twice as long as we'd ever been on stage, 2.5 hours or so, doing a lot of the older vintage kind of material. And every once in a while you look across the stage and you go, and I was realizing, yeah, this is what I love. This is the thing that started it all. Movies are okay, and people pat you on the back, and record companies are okay, and management stuff is okay, but it's really bullshit, you know? It's not rock and roll. It doesn't come from the heart. It comes from a suit and tie point of view. And I was taken in by these guys with suits and ties. They all go, hey, Gene, baby, don't ever change. And, you know, all this crap to go, hey, you should start a record company. Yeah, I should. Yeah, I could do that. And you start believing that stuff, and it rapes you. Your soul gets sucked out of you, and without realizing, you become kind of a Jekyll and Hyde thing. You don't realize that you're changing, but you're changing. And people around you are saying, what's the matter with Gene? And I didn't realize it at all. For me, I don't think everybody, I've been coasting. I've been contemplating my navel and jerking off on stage, to be blunt. And I think if anybody deserves to apologize to anything, I think I deserve to apologize. I have to, really, almost like confession time, have to apologize to the fans who've stuck by the band so long, because I don't think I've given anywhere near as much as I should have. All of it's really my fault. None of it was really intentional. It really just sort of happened. You know, these guys that go through heroin addictions, and a decade passes before they even realize that, you know, the name of the band, may understand what I'm talking about. The last 10 years are just a blur of movies, record companies, and me without makeup. I didn't know who the f*** I was.
I was certainly aware of a time when Gene was goofing off, you know, not doing his share. And when people are stroking your ego or stroking any other part of your body, it's sometimes hard to listen to what other people are saying. It feels too good, you know. So hopefully he shot his wad now and he's okay.
On, you know, 2 or 3 real special records that we've done, and other records have their moments, but certain records still hold up. Most of the material on Destroyer is still the staple of the band. Some of the earlier records, the first 2 or 3 records, we're still doing that material, and it seems more KISS. And along the way, we experimented. We tried to do a lot of different things. You can't say we played it safe. And I personally lost total touch. As soon as the makeup came off, I was completely lost. I didn't have a clue who Gene Simmons was. I think it affected me more than anybody else. I was like, could have been transported to the Twilight Zone, because I didn't know what I was supposed to do, what I was. It was almost like all of a sudden my brain started to be connected to the rest of my body. And in rock and roll, that's not good. You should have your heart connected to what's between your legs, dangling, and not think too much about it. What does it all mean? Am I supposed to do this? Oh, that's a good pose. I mean, whatever you saw happening on stage or in photos was real. That's what we felt like, even if we put stuff on and designed stuff around us. We were who we were. That first time we sat in a loft on 23rd Street, and we said, let's wear makeup. Nobody sat there and said, the marketplace demand. Nobody knew any of that shit. We said, let's wear makeup. We all went, okay, let's wear makeup. And what we put on our faces that night is what stayed. I think the band changed, and it had to change, or it had to die. It couldn't continue on with what it was because everything had been done in that form. And we never wanted to rape the fans or take the easy way out. It's harder to take the makeup off once it works. You gotta know that. And I think we respected ourselves enough to realize the makeup had to go. There was nothing else we could do. In fact, we didn't even know when we were shooting the cover to Lick It Up that we were going to take the makeup off. We just looked at each other and we went, okay, let's just take some photos without the makeup, and see how it looks.
In spirit to the old albums, to the real vintage things. It's not a copy of it. It's not anything that will remind you of any of the early stuff, except in the fact that it's vicious, it's balls out, no bullshit, no frills, rock and roll. Great choruses, guitars up the wazoo, and thunderous drumming. Other than that, it's just a normal album.
The name of the new record is Revenge. And we were originally thinking about calling the record just Kiss, and decided somewhere along the line that other people may misunderstand it, may think that we're ripping some other band off, but to us it seems like another definitive kind of record. For us, every once in a while, there's a record that does that. And it doesn't do the same, not every record does the same thing for everybody. For me, the first record, obviously, a lot of that material still works. Then Destroyer, Alive, Creatures of the Night, and then I have to think about other records. For me, this new record feels like a new beginning. Here we are approaching our 20th year, but it feels like it's brand new. So when we were tossing ideas around, Paul walked in one day and said, I've got it. The name of the record is Revenge. And everybody knew, yeah, that's the name of the record. It felt like no mercy, no quarter asked, no quarter given. Judge it for what it is. If you hate it, kill us. If you love it, on your knees. That's the kind of record it is.
Eric Singer played with us on God Gave Rock and Roll to You, which was the track that we cut that was a massive hit in the UK. We cut that, when did we cut that? In May. 91. And at that point, I had played with Eric when I did a solo tour around the States. And we had a great time, and Eric was a phenomenal player, but also a great guy, and he knew everybody in the band. So we were really lucky. It was as though we were spared all that real torture of auditioning people and trying to get to know somebody when you can virtually draw somebody in who's actually in the circle, who's been there. And all the guys knew Eric, and it's a godsend, and his playing on Revenge is phenomenal. He came in under really strange, awkward circumstances, but was basically there to help. But when the situation was obviously irreversible, there was nobody else we even considered except Eric.
I was a fan from the day one. When they first, before they ever even toured, I remember seeing them in Rock Scene magazine under the New York club scene pictures. They used to have little black and whites to advertise, up-and-coming bands on the scene there. And the Rock Scene magazine at that time was covered mainly a lot of New York underground scene. And when they came to Cleveland, I saw them open up for the New York Dolls on their first tour. And I always laughed because they had these little opera booths on the sides of the hall. And I, at this particular theater, the Allen Theater, everyone, as soon as the house lights would go down, would try to scale the wall and get up in these little booths because those were the great seats. And so I remember I saw people do it at a previous show, so I said, well, when Kiss comes here, I'm going to climb up there because I want to be in a great seat. So the lights go down, I scale the wall, and I get up there. And then during Firehouse, they used to have the sirens going, and they'd have the spotlights going all over the hall. And they shined the spotlight on me up there, and so I started going, yeah, getting all this attention in the crowd, and all the security guys saw me, so they ran over there and started shining the flashlights up there. So I stayed up for the rest of the show, and as soon as the lights went down, they're like, get down, and they threw me. I got thrown out. So that was my first experience with Kiss.
That's the last Kiss show he's going to get thrown out of.
Yeah. hopefully.
Eric's death is very hard to talk about because even though from the start, it seems, I mean, it's a nightmare, but it almost seems surreal. You know, it seems surreal in that when Eric first told me he was ill, I said, don't worry, it's probably nothing. And then he went and had some work done, and they said he had cancer. And again, I said, don't worry about it, you'll beat it. And it was always a series of don't worry about it, it's going to get better. Even though the doctors were saying that basically from the time he was diagnosed, he was doomed. Human nature, and when you love somebody, you believe that they're going to make it, or that they're just going to be ill forever, but they're going to remain. So his death was really a nightmare for us. At the same time, we came off a tour that so much showed us how important the band was and how much we had to be proud of, that we had no doubts that we were going to continue full steam ahead. It was not with disrespect to Eric, but respect for KISS, that we never lost sight of who we are, what we've been through, where we came from, and where we should go. You know, everything we've done is the foundation of the future. And it's really a great foundation, and we should be building on it. For Eric's sake, too.